Almost immediately after Senator Susan Collins finished her historic speech today, members of the abusively biased news media, the ones that hate Trump every second of every day, every minute of every day, every hour of every day, they began their freak out, predictably. Take a look.
Now we know here yet another institution broken in the time of Trump, the United States Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court is heading into a crisis of legitimacy. And when Judge Kavanaugh helps them to chip away at civil rights, voting rights, women's rights, abortion rights. I don't think this is going to sit very well with the country. He promised that he would be a hardcore partisan, and he will be. That's the one thing he didn't lie about under oath.
The message to survivors like Dr. Ford is, one, we don't want to hear from you. Two, if we have to hear from you because we're forced to, we're going to rig it so that there is no FBI investigation.
Let's not forget these people would go to church and then go to the lynching after clothing themselves in morality, and that's what we're seeing today.
Joining us now, Fox News contributor Tammy Bruce, chairman of the America Fighting Back PAC, her former presidential candidate himself, Herman Cain. Tammy, you've had such a powerful voice in this debate. It has been pretty amazing to watch your comments. Senator Murkowski said, and she's a no on Kavanaugh, the appearance of impropriety has become avoidable. So if you make enough accusations, and the one side can create enough fire, that's guilt. There's no presumption of innocence in that. To me, that's scary to me, that logic.
Yeah, it should be, and it's unfortunate. You're right. Susan Collins' speech today was wonderful, was surprising for me as a supporter of the president and against the swamp. It's amazing to be supporting Susan Collins and Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell. But this is where recognizing the commitment to the values that make this country great is important. And I'm not saying Lisa Murkowski doesn't do that. But look, we're all individuals. We've all had a very different life experience. But it is a warning to every single American that these kinds of arguments will resonate with people for various reasons. And we've got to stay vigilant. We have dodged something here that is very important. But it's only the beginning, Sean. This is now we've got to look toward, in the aftermath, things like the American legacy media, that it really is dead in a way. There was no ability to report other news during this framework because they could only focus on Kavanaugh. I
said journalism's dead back in 2007.
If anybody doubted it, they've got their proof right now, and this is, a very important thing. And I don't. The midterms are a key, but it continues. This is a reformation of the country, and while I would rather this didn't happen to the judge and to his family, we must see this as an opportunity to continue on with the battles in front of us, and we will prevail because it's the American way.
America should have a very bad taste in its mouth tonight, and there needs to be a hangover and a moment of sobriety here so we can begin the process of what do we want as a country. Herman Cain, I remember when you were running for president, and I remember a whole series of accusations, one accusation after another started flying after you. And I remember, because I've known you for many years, you're a friend of mine, I remember saying, I don't believe them. You didn't have the money to fight back, you bailed out of the race. After that day, it all went away. It was nothing ever was said again that I've heard.
That's because I didn't have the money, as you indicated, to basically file 3 lawsuits at the same time. And here's another thing to remember about what happened to me. Every week, they drug out another accuser, and when we got to the number 3, I knew that the liberal media mob had already made up its mind. Susan Collins, I applaud what she did today on the floor of the United States Senate. She put the integrity of the Supreme Court and the integrity of the United States Senate above the liberal media mob. I applaud her for that. Mitch McConnell did the same thing. Lindsey Graham did the same thing, along with others. The liberal media mob has not won. They didn't win today.
I don't really know her, and I know I've disagreed with her a lot. I was surprised today. I saw somebody that maybe I just didn't know the person. Maybe I just disagreed on politics. I saw something today that I think it's a watershed moment for the country.
Well, Sean, I've got a column coming out at foxnews.com suggesting that with this experience, imagine what we can do if the establishment GOP puts down its fists and works with us to keep America great. Imagine being able to work together. You had George W. Bush and Condoleezza Rice calling senators to support Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
We've seen this. Look, it was enlightening and it was exciting, and isn't it time that in looking to the future that we come together and continue to work this way?
Last word, Herman Cain.
Well, the liberal media mob, if things play out tomorrow, did not win, and that is a great thing for the United States of America.
We better be, there's way too many people, though, that were willing to forego simple, basic, core, fundamental principles of fairness, decency, due process, presumption of innocence. That ought to scare every American, and I hope they pay attention to that in 32 days.
It's just the beginning.
All right, I agree, Seth. You're right. It is just the beginning. All right, when we come back, Judge Jeanine Pirro weighs in. Sarah Carter weighs in as we continue. Stay with us.